Okay, one more time, we want to welcome everybody to our 25th Annual International Surfboard Builders Hall of Fame. So 25 years ago, it was just an idea, and it turned into this. Bob brought it from Dana Point to Huntington Beach about 9 years ago, and they asked me to be a part of it, and I said, well, that would be good, but we need to turn it into a bigger event, and so be it. So we turned it into this. The city's allowed us to have it here at the Pier Plaza the last 5 years, so it's grown from the Surf Museum parking lot that we had the first couple years over to here, and it's turned into a spectacular event. What I want to do is name the 7 inductees that are going to be inducted today. Let's see, I think 3 or 4 of them are here, and we have 2 or 3 that weren't able to show up, but they have some representatives from their family or friends to receive the trophies. So first of all, Al Merrick is one of them from Channel Islands. Channel Islands Surfboards. Al Fass from Allen Surfboards, and there Cher Pendarvis right over here. Pendarvis, that's right, sorry. Pendoflex Surfboards. Ricky Carroll from Florida, Ricky Carroll Surfboards. Sam Egan from Australia, Surfboards Australia. In fact, I have one of those boards. And then who will not be here today is Hank Warner from Hank Warner Custom Shapes. And last but not least, Richard Dees, South Bay Surf Club, local. Can't get any localer than that. I want to remind everybody that up in the far corner up here is our International Surfboard Builders Hall of Fame canopy. We're selling t-shirts out of there. And we'd like everybody to come up and check out the tees. I'm actually wearing one of them right here. And so they're kind of, you know, they're cut cool and everything, yeah. Anyway, so go check them out if you have a chance. Bob is also building a surfboard, and we're asking anybody who's been inducted or you're part of this surfboard building culture, we want you to come up and check out this. We want people to sign autographs. And I know someone asked earlier if there were past inductees or people who have already been inducted into the International Surfboard Builders Hall of Fame. One more time, please raise your hand so we know exactly who's here and who's been inducted in our past. So 25 years, we've inducted over 100 surfboard shapers, starting with Duke Kahanamoku and moving forward. Mickey Rack just told me 140 surfboard shapers from all over the world. Like I said, starting with Duke Kahanamoku and moving forward with Bill Holden, and here we are today. Anyway, if you know who Dwight Dunn is also up there, and we want anybody to register at the tent so you can be recognized during this induction. So if you're part of the International Surfboard Builders Hall of Fame, we want you to at least sign up over there so Dwight Dunn has a record of who's here. So now, I want to go ahead and turn this mic over to Bob Bolin, the founder of International Surfboard Builders Hall of Fame. Where's Bob Bolin at? Right behind me? Okay. And then Mickey Ratt, or, you know, co-founder. Yeah, I'll look at him. Come on over here. He's setting up the red carpet, and they'll start the induction here in just a minute. So we want to thank everybody for coming, and just hang tight because we're going to take off. We're going to have the blowing of the poo and the blessing. Is Kalani Akui here? Oh, okay, he's getting dressed. All right, well, we're going to start that off in just a few minutes here. We're going to have the blowing of the poo, and yeah, we're waiting for Kalani to come down and join us. So, oh yeah, so he's ready.
Sorry about setting up the carpet late, but last year they almost set it on fire because they had the flame dancers.
Check, 2, 3, 4. Check, check. You take the wireless mic and he can have that.
Before we start, I got to ask this. Can you hear me? Am I on? This thing moves. Can we lock it down? We can. Okay, great. I'll just, oh, God, it tips over. I won't tip it. I got to go ask this lady a quick question.
Where'd he go?
Greek. I'm sorry, but he's old. He just walks away. He doesn't know why. See, I got the mic so I can talk bad about him. Greek. Now's the time not for photo shoots. Come on.
Well, I had to ask our gal from Paradise a question, because there's another dance out there called the Philippine Tininkling, and none of you have probably ever seen it, but I asked her if she can get somebody to do it for next year, and she seems to think she can. Is that correct? Yes, indeed. So, thank you, Don, wherever Don went. Good morning, everybody. I'm Bob the Greek Bolin. My good friend Mickey Esther, and I, along with everyone associated with the ISBHOF, would like to welcome you to the 25th Annual International Surfboard Builder Hall of Fame induction. Before we begin, we'd like to thank all the entertainers who performed for you here this morning. Let's have a round of applause for them. They did such a great job. You don't get to see that all the time here in Huntington Beach. And this is our 9th year holding the event here in Huntington Beach, and let me tell you, with us today are some of the finest surfboard builders in the world, and without these guys and the many other board builders throughout the world, the surfing industry would not be here. Jack Surf and Sport would probably not be here without these guys. I don't know, Bobby, you shaped a lot of boards there, Bobby? Oh, no, okay. And the sport probably would not be here if it was not for these fantastic board builders. And let's have, can we get all the surfboard builders that are here today to stand?
Yes.
Why not? Let's go. Get all the surfboard builders that are here, whether you're inducted or not. Stand up. Oh, that's
Every board builder.
Look at this. There's a bunch of them. Another thing I'd like to mention is that the boards they shape generally turn out to be beautiful pieces of art, but it can be, and usually is, very lonely in the shaping room. Every one of us that are shapers fell in love with surfing. And then we found our niche as a surfboard shaper, surfboard builder. And, but it's real lonely in that shaping room, isn't it, Al? Yeah. And we've got some of the best here, and we've inducted some of the best over the years. So in any event, we've been holding this event for the last 25 years, and we have no budget. We do this with no money. It's amazing. We have a lot of volunteers. So if you haven't purchased your 2024 collector T-shirt, please visit the tent and get one. It's our only fundraiser, and we only do it once a year. We have some long sleeves, some T-shirts, short sleeves, and we have no budget. And by the way, after this event is over, there's going to be an after party where all these shapers should wind up at Bruno's at 301 Main Street. And so you can get to mingle with all these guys. So they're going to come up and party. They're party animals anyway, if you ever hung out with these guys. So now we're going to have the blowing of the poo. Where's our poo guy? Right here. And now we'll be privileged to have our traditional Hawaiian blessing on the event, our own Ala'akai under David Nueva Sr., traditional Hawaiian blessing from our Kalani Akui.
You couldn't say it?
Because I never got the right words for it.
Oh, you didn't? I thought he called you back.
He never did. This is a prayer. Mahalo Kalani. Now we'd like to have Mayor Gracie Vandermark come on up. We're going to hear from her and introduce some of the other hard-working government officials who may be here at our event.
I'd like to thank everyone for having me for a second. This is my second year here. You know, our surfers are part of our history. They are why we are Surf City, USA. But so are our builders, and I don't think they get the recognition that they need. You guys have made history, so thank you all for becoming part of Huntington Beach history. You know that you are part of our history, and that'll never change, so thank you all for coming.
You want to get some of them to stand up?
For who? Call out Pat, please.
Okay. Now I'd like to introduce our Mayor Pro Tem, Pat Burns, who is here. Stand up, stand up, don't be shy. And who else? Is he the only one, right? Yep. So he's the only one that's here. And our former mayor, Dave Garofalo, over here. You can stand up, Dave. Good?
Yeah, that's good. Thank you, Mayor Gracie. We're going to bring her up later for some letters of commendation. It's my great pleasure to introduce my good friend. Good friend? Was I supposed to say that? Yeah, good friend. And co-founder of the International Surfboard Builder Hall of Fame, Mike Missy Rat Esther, who will give us a brief history of what our event is all about and how it differs from all other events. Take it away, Mickey Rat.
Hi, everybody. I just want to, from my heart, thank everybody for taking time out of your busy schedules to be here, because this means a lot to us. So, I know everybody has heard this story in the past, but I got to tell it every year. So when Greek and I, back in 2000, we were on a surf session down at Churches, and when we left there, got up on the freeway, and Greek got a call from somebody, I don't remember who it was, that one of the legend board builders had passed away. And so a couple minutes went by, I'm sitting there not just thinking about it, and I thought, man, the history of surfboard building is dying out. And so I told Greek, I said, somebody needs to do something. And he said, what? I said, somebody needs to get these guys recognized for their lifetime of work building surfboards. Another couple minutes goes by, and he goes, okay, Mickey Rat, let's do it. I said, let's do what? And he said, let's start it. So we somehow got it going, and then we needed to come up with how we were going to get these guys nominated. And we both said, well, what we'll do is we'll pick the first one, and then that guy will then pick the next one. Those two will pick the next two, and then the next four will pick the next four. And what a better way to get nominated than by your peers. So it's worked out really well. And the first inductee was Bill Holden. Bill Holden started building surfboards right here in Huntington Beach in 1956. And so we thought it would be fitting to have him from Surf City, USA. And lo and behold, Greek got an invitation to go to Bill's birthday party at his home down in Laguna Canyon. And so we had probably less than 2 weeks to get the award together. And so I went to my shop, came up with a design, and then took it down to the party in a brown paper bag. We had no t-shirts, no stickers, no jackets, no nothing. All I had was this award. And then about halfway through the party, it was a daytime party. He had at least 100 people at his house. So we called Bill and his wife up to the front, and we told them why we were there. And then everybody gathered around, and when we inducted him and handed him the award, he started crying. I look over at his wife, she starts crying. I lean over to Greek and I go, Greek, did we do something wrong? And he said, no, Mickey Rat, I think we did something really, really good. And so he was so stoked that he was not gonna set this award down, which I'm gonna get to in a bit. And so from there, Bill then nominated Dale Velzy. And then those two picked the next two, which was Hap Jacobs and Gordy. And then those four then picked the next four. And you can see it. I don't remember all of them because there's 140 of them, but they're on the T-shirt. So now a little story about the awards. And at this time, I would like to bring up Brad Holden, Bill's son, who brought the very first award. And Brad brings that back every year. Unfortunately, Bill passed away in 2008, but Brad lets his legacy live on by bringing that award back every year, and that's so awesome. I know it's pretty patinaed, and I had offered Brad to let me refinish that, and he said, Mickey, right, you're not touching that award. So there it is. Did you want to say anything about your dad?
Oh, no.
Okay.
Great job of honoring him.
Yeah, so the awards. So I never knew that I was going to get stuck.
I'm going to say something about his dad.
Okay.
Well, Bill Holden, like Rat said, had a shop over here on Beach Boulevard. I think it was behind his mother's house, wasn't it? In a garage, as I recall. Maybe Midway City or somewhere up there in that general area.
It's Garden Grove, yeah.
Yeah. Well, Midway City, we'll call it that. And I drive by that thing going surfing all the time, and it had a little sign saying Holden Surfboards. I didn't know who the guy was, so I pulled in there one day and looked at some boards, and I said, I'm going to buy a board. And they had one up on the rack. It was a red-railed board, and it was a red tint, and red tint's the hardest. If all you shapers and glassers know that red tint is one of the hardest ones to do back in the day when we were glossing, they'd like to run or fade or do whatever. So he sold it to me for $80 or something like that. And I surfed the heck out of that thing. And over the years, Bill and I became very good friends. And when I decided I wanted to try shape a surfboard, I went to Bill and I said, hey, Bill, I'd like to buy a blank. He goes, why? I said, well, I think I want to build a board. He goes, well, what if you go in the business? I go, no, I just want to build myself a board. And that was quite a while ago. But over the years, Bill and I became very good friends. He worked out of a shop up on Costa Mesa with his buddy, what was his name? Motorcycle guy. Anyway, he had a partner, and they worked up in Dickie Freeman. Yeah, that's it. And they worked out of a shop up in Costa Mesa. And whenever I needed any help shaping or laminating or sanding rails or something, we actually all sanded rails at one time, right? That was a real fun job. And he'd come to work for me. I'd go to work for him once in a while. But we had a great time. I had a great relationship. Bill Holden was a very, very good friend of mine and a wonderful man. And he has a heck of a following, didn't he? Oh, yeah. A heck of a following. And like Rat said, he passed away. They had a thing, a celebration of life for him at Doheny. Well, Bill had shaped a board for me. He just gave me the blank, and I had a glass by Wayne Takayama. And he made the fin, and I brought the board with me. And it was a real quiet day. There was hardly any breeze at all. And I talked about Bill Holden And that board was sitting in a rack, kind of like this one here. And all of a sudden, a little breeze came up and started rocking that board back and forth. And I looked at that board and I told the audience, I said, Bill's here with us today. So in any event, that's my story on Bill.
And not only that, but Bill had such an infectious smile. That's what I remember about Bill the most. So anytime anybody ever talked to him, and those of you that knew him, you know about that infectious smile. So back to the awards, I never knew that I was going to build 140 of these things. So it takes quite a long time. I've got a lot of time and effort into each one of these awards. And as you can see, they've gotten quite better since the first one. And I've got a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into each and every one of these. Blood, because I'm always nicking myself on the machinery or the wood or something. And then sweat, because there's so much sanding on these things, not only on the wood, but in between each coats of finish. And then tears, it's tears of joy when I get to see the look on that inductee's face when he receives the award. And I can see it, how much it means to him, for him spending so much time in that dusty, foam-filled shaping room, shaping boards for most of his life. So it's quite honoring to do this. And my wife, the lovely Lala of 57 years, bless her heart that she's had to put up with me for that long. Just about every year she goes, "Why do you spend so much time on that?" I said, "Because when I see the look on their face, it makes it worth every minute I spend on it." So with that being said, I think we're good to go. Oh, there's one more little story I want to tell. Talking about crying, in 2016, Wayne Rich, stand up, was nominated and inducted in 2016. Mike Davis from Australia was also inducted. And when Mike Davis came up, so we were holding the event at the museum, Mike Davis was telling the story that he and his wife really couldn't afford to make that trip from Australia all the way to here. And so she said, "You have to go." And he said, "Well, I don't want to go without you." And he said, "No, you have to go, because that is the, I'm going to wait till that goes by, that award is the Academy Awards of Surfboard Building." Greek and I were floored. It was made us feel so good. I looked up, I'm getting emotional thinking about it, because Mike Davis started crying, and he goes, "Nobody's ever gave me any recognition for anything." I look over at Wayne Rich, he's bawling. I look out the crowd, there was not a dry eye in the house. So that was very cool. So let's hope that remains. So with that being said, one other thing that I would like to say is that I'm super stoked and so excited that we have our first female inductee coming into this elite club of surfboard building legends. So I'm going to turn it back over to Greek, and we'll carry on. Okay, sit back and relax. And for those viewers at home, stay tuned. We'll be right back after this commercial. Right, we're televised, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we televised?
Yeah.
Or we don't have a budget?
We don't have a budget.
Oh, we don't have a budget. No, I guess we're not televised.
Now all you do is find out where we're at. Okay. I'd like to introduce some of our fantastic board members. Dwight Dunn is helping out at the tea booth up here where we sell the T-shirts. He's doing a big thing. Dwight, right there, Dwight Dunn, an amazing helper. Mr. Ray Bond, right up here, he's a videographer and specialist in webmaster. If you get a chance to go to our website, Ray Bond, he manages that website. It's a phenomenal website, let me tell you. And Ray Bond, I just want to tell you how much we appreciate you. You thought that was going to come out a little different, didn't you? I'd like to also introduce our hardworking event director, Mr. Don Ramsey. Where are you, Don?
Right here behind you.
Are you behind me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And he's of the world famous Ramsey Brothers band. And some of our board members are out of town, unable to attend this year's event. And we want to recognize any of our sponsors. I got Ronnie right up there from Jack, or Bobby from Jack Surfboards right up there. Wave, come on, big wave, big smile. That's it. We're a lot older than when we started this, huh, Bobby? Yeah. I don't know if we have anybody from HB Digital. No, okay. Team Color and Vans Off the Wall. Whoop. And Mike Esther, we have other notable board builders in the audience with us today. Could you please, would all the board builders just stand? I don't care who you are. Willis brother over here, stand, let's go. John Prybum right there, right?
Come on, Isaiah, stand up.
Right here, Isaiah. And we got to make sure that you're going to be all invited to come down to a group photo right at the end, so don't disappear, right? And now we got to bring up former mayor Dave Garofalo. He's done a great job over the years by providing our event with great advertising and is our new director of advertising. Congratulations, Dave. Come on, get up here. You got his jacket, my jacket. It's hanging over my...
And you gave me a podium just for me.
The podium's too tall.
I got to tell you a little story. I'm sure that a lot of you know about the shopping center.
Who is that guy?
Yeah,
I don't know.
yeah. Well, up at, what's the shopping center? I just went blank.
It's normal for you.
Yeah, what is it? Secret, no.
5 points.
Yeah, where the, oh, God. Anyway, up at the 405 freeway in Beach.
The sign.
The sign.
Bellaterra.
Bellaterra. I should know, I built most of that. But anyway,
Here, wait. I can solve the problem.
that's better. His half brain cell and my half brain cell. Well, we found out that Dave is ahead of doing the advertisement for that sign, and he said that you're going to have a big thing on that signboard. And so Greek and I went up there one night, and about 9 o'clock, and we sat there and we're waiting for it to roll over so we could see it. Here comes 10 o'clock, and then 11 o'clock, and now I'm going, next thing I know, I'm like this. It never did show up, Dave.
When year was that?
Well, that was a long time ago, but since then it has, and it's really cool, and we appreciate it. Come on.
So I'm going to introduce Dave. He's our new director of advertising.
Thank you very much. This is
your jacket.
truly
Put your
a
jacket on.
great thing for the city of Huntington Beach and Surf City, USA. Thank you.
Jacket.
Oh, huh?
All right.
Huh? Ooh.
Okay. Thank you for your contribution.
Come here. We're not done. Are we done with him?
You're done with me. I was done.
No, we're not done with him. Come here. Wait a minute. Now, anyway, the jacket that he has on right here, he doesn't get to keep it. Because
Story of my life.
it says Bob Bolin on it. So the jacket, we had to order him one special so it would snap, and we didn't get it in time to get it printed. So he'll get his real one next year. So we'll have to bring him up again next year. And but anyway, congratulations. While you're here,
I've spent my life shaping.
You did good. You're in great shape.
yeah.
Thanks, Dave.
And we don't like to pick on Dave too much, you know, just one of those things. So again, thanks, Dave, for all the advertising you've done for us. He puts full page advertising in his paper and the event up there. So Mike,
No.
you're gonna right here.
I should acknowledge that guy right there.
Who guy?
Look, Mike Ali. Look to your
Well,
left.
you can do that.
Okay.
I didn't even know he was here.
Okay. I'd like to just take a second to acknowledge somebody here in Huntington Beach who owns Zach right here, and he's such a big part of this city, Mike Ali. He helps at every event that goes on, he helps out. And so our appreciation to you. Thank you.
Good morning. It's been a pleasure being part of this community over 50 years in the surf industry. And I continue in my family to support all the industry.
Now, who was here longer, you or me? I forget.
You,
Oh, me. Okay, good. All right.
you're the third oldest businessman in Huntington Beach. And I'm the fifth.
Here, wait, come here. I got one thing to say about these guys. I just want to thank them both for their service because they're both Vietnam vets.
And Mike and I were in Vietnam at the same time.
I do have a story about you, Mike. You used to have a liquor store over here, right? And, yeah, Pasha Liquor, right? Is that it? Yeah. Well, there was a guy that used to come here, and he was a vet. He was a World War II, but he was some sort of vet, right? And he'd come down to my shop. My surf shop was right across the street. And I can't remember his name, but he was just laughing. And I said, "What are you laughing at?" He goes, "I just got kicked out of Pasha Liquor." I go, "Well, what for?" He goes, "I walked in there and told him I was collecting for the JDL." and this guy was cracking up, and Mike cracks up. He remembers that story. So this town has a lot of love. This town has a lot of history. I've been real privileged to have the history that I have and the history with Mike, because Mike also used to own the bar across the street, right? Capri, yeah. I spent a lot of time in there when I was younger with the original Jack Hokinson. Yeah. So a lot of history here in this town.
So if you want to come down and spend a nice afternoon like today, Mike has all the couches down here. He now has his beer and wine license that he can serve down here. You can get meals. You can relax on the couches. It's pretty awesome. So thank you, Mike, for that. That's really cool. Yeah, so any of you veterans that are going to be here on November 11th, Mike puts on a big thing right here for all the veterans.
Now, I'm not going to bring him down yet, but we have a drummer that's hanging out here for a little bit. He's going to do, Don Ramsey, what's he going to do?
In between each
A drummer, okay.
drum roll.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce each name, but not bring him up yet, and he's going to do a drum roll, and then he's going to take off. So we're going to have, our first inductee will be Al Merrick. Not yet, not yet, not yet. Then our next inductee will be Al Foss from Allen Surfboards. And then our next inductee, like Rat said, is our first wonderful female longtime friend, Cher Pendarvis from Pendaflex Surfboards. Stand up. You want to start dancing? I lost my space. And then we have Ricky Carroll from Ricky Carroll Surfboards in Florida. Did Ricky make it? There he is. I got worried about you. You don't know yet. And then we have Sam Egan from Australia, who'll be, and his friend Chris Christensen will be accepting. And then we'll have Hanky Warner from Hank Warner Custom Shapes. And unfortunately, Hank had to go to a wedding in Virginia, was it? So a lot of his family are here, and they're wearing masks and everything else. So it's
And if you didn't notice, Hanky is here. Turn around and look right up there.
yeah. Okay, so, oh, and then we have Richard Deese, South Bay Surf Shop. And Erica Escalante is going to be accepting for him. Erica, where are you? Up there. Okay, great. Al Merrick got stuck. Where did he get stuck?
Idaho.
Idaho. Stuck in Idaho. Whew. So accepting today?
Little story.
Oh, okay.
So I was down at the boardroom show last Saturday. We didn't hear from Al. Greek had sent him letters, sent him text, emails, never heard from him. And while I'm at the show down there looking for Brett Merrick, his son, at his booth, I kept missing him. All of a sudden my phone rings. I look at it and it's Al Merrick. And he goes, "Is this Mickey Rat?" And I said, "Yeah." And I said, "Is this Al?" He goes, "It is." I said, he goes, "I got to just tell you," he said, "I can't make it down there. I'm stuck up here in Idaho, but I am so unbelievably honored." And so he has Isaiah, his grandson, here today to accept his award.
Now you can come up, Isaiah. Come on. Was that a skateboarding accident, or what was that?
Snowboarding, surfing.
Oh, okay, great.
How
Hey,
you doing, my friend?
good to have you up
Yeah,
here.
thank you.
I'm just going to set this over your shoulders.
Cool, thanks. Do you want me to say anything? Or?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah, you're going to get to talk.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, well, hi, I'm Isaiah. Obviously, I'm here on behalf of my grandfather, Al. First off, I want to thank the Builders Hall of Fame for everything you guys do. I think it's really amazing, and obviously having been in the factory since I was young, it's something I'm deeply passionate about, is honoring the people that came before us and the people that enable the lifestyle we love to live. So my grandpa's a man of few words, and so I'll follow suit, but I'm obviously deeply honored to be here and have the privilege, and I know my grandfather is as well. At this stage in his life, I think to receive recognition from so many peers that we all respect so deeply is incredibly meaningful for him, and so on his behalf, I would like to thank you. I guess that's all I really have to say. Again, we are all men of few words, so thank you all, and all glory to God, who is the fountain from which all good things flow.
Well, here, come on, wait 1 second. And on top of that, I think Al was a champion surfer, wasn't he?
I believe
Yes,
so.
he was. Just to let you know, Isaiah, he was a really good surfer, and he did some stuff in the industry that was, in my opinion, was incredible. He built Channel Island surfboards to a phenomenal, in a phenomenal way. He would get other glass shops and other shapers. He'd hire them, and they'd shape the boards, and he had them glass all over the place, so he could get boards done without having all that giant overhead. And I talked to him on the phone the other day, and I told him, I said, Al, and Al and I really never met, and that's the beauty of this industry, but I told him I admired what he did, and he thanked me very much. You know, I said, but you sold too many boards, you know, especially in Huntington Beach. So, whoop, here, get over there, we'll get a picture. Get on the other side of it.
One other thing, for any of you that really don't know Al Merrick, he built most of the boards, probably just about all of them, for this guy, this surfer. Does anybody know Kelly Slater? Yeah.
What? Who's that?
Yeah, who's that? Thank you, Isaiah.
Thank you.
Learn to snowboard, skateboard, wherever it is, I'll follow on this.
I will.
Now, next up is a real interesting guy, Al Foss. Alan Surfboards. You can tell he's got a pretty good following also. Anyway, Al Foss. No, I don't know if you want to get on. You want to talk on the mic a little bit? Tell them about yourself?
Just a few seconds.
Okay. I'll time you. Oh, come on.
If you got a half hour or so,
Yeah.
I could.
No, we have the hook over here.
Oh, okay.
What's that? Oh yeah, wait. We gotta give you your jacket.
Oh,
And you gotta get your blessing. I do everything out of
you got to be blessed first.
I can tell he needs all the blessing he can get.
Turn around.
Look at that. Looking good. Looking stylish. Huh?
Show the back, Al. Show the back. Attaboy.
This is why you see your back. Come on up, Al.
Okay. Well, I'm truly honored here. I had no idea that this was going to be such a big deal. When I was notified about, maybe 2 or 3 months ago, I'm going like, gee whiz, I don't know, you know. And then as things progressed, everybody kept saying, yeah, Al, you got to go, okay. Well, as I finally got into it, I just really, really am so happy to be here and to be at this event and to be honored with that award. Anyway, I'm really shocked because we have family that has come from Phoenix, Arizona, all the way from Seattle, Washington, and friends from Colorado. My son is here, and his cousin from, and I haven't seen him. He's a really good surfer.
Tell us stand up.
What's that?
Family members, let's stand up. Come on.
Okay, yeah, all family members. Okay, and then we have friends from, my God, everywhere. Colorado, Huntington Beach. And I was just wondering, there was a guy that I invited. A few of you people in Huntington Beach know him. Jim Wade bought his first surfboard from us. And I invited, I just don't know, Jim Wade, are you here today? I guess. All right. Well, thank you, Jim, for coming. And that was a long time ago. Let me tell you, anybody that had one of our surfboards would be 70 to 80 years old now. So I think Jim is maybe 71.
He doesn't look a day under 90.
Yeah. And a few other people that, boy, I just, you know, here, this is wonderful. You know, and then surfing was really something in those days. It started out, I don't know. We didn't know how big a deal it was. And then when we started making surfboards, there was Gidget, the movie. Half of you people don't even know about it.
What year was that?
Oh, Christ, 1959, no, 60 maybe.
And how many boards have you made?
I have no idea. You know, we lost count after 400 or 500, you know, or so. But
Tell them who the we is.
I'm sorry. I wanted to accept this award for my brother, John, who is no longer with us, and myself. He was my partner, and we did everything together. I mean, he shaped a lot of surfboards. Matter of fact, he actually shaped some for Bob here, and a few other people, part-time. And then we had, a medium-sized shop, and then we started selling. People wanted to buy surfboards from us, so we sold surfboards to sporting goods stores, the Sport Chalet and Neil's Sporting Good out in Santa Ana, and a few other shops. And then it just kept growing and growing. But boy, surfing in the old days was, it was amazing. When I first started surfing, I had to learn how to surf at trestles. How does that sound? And I'd go there with a friend of mine that made my first surfboard. His name was Dick Barrymore. And he made surfboards in Seal Beach. It was for, maybe about a year and a half. And then, so we're Los Angeles firemen together, and he said, well, I make surfboards. I didn't know. And he said, well, if you want to start surfing, I'll make you a surfboard. So he made me a board, and then our days off, we'd have a day on, a day off, and then we'd drive down a trestle. There was like 3 stoplights all the way down the Coast Highway, and it didn't take long to get there, and then that's where I learned to surf. And when we'd go out, there was me and him and maybe one other guy, and that was it. So anyway, it's all changed since then, but man, it's a great sport, and it's worldwide now, and there must be 1 billion people out there surfing.
I got a couple things I want to say, too. Now you got to go over there and get your award.
Okay.
Here, let me get the picture. Now, a couple things I'd like to share with you is his brother John. I knew John better than I did Al, because John spent a lot of time down here. They started building houses here. They built one in town, but we used to shape. John and I used to shape up at Foss Foam. You remember Foss Foam?
I sure do.
Yeah, up in Costa Mesa.
Well, here's a little short story.
It better be short.
Well, yeah. Well, Chuck Foss was a salesman for Reichhold Chemicals, and he used to bring us foam as samples to, when we first made our first mold, to test the different types of foam that they had available. So that's how, and then he went big time. Okay, thank you. Anyway, he went big time and started making foam blanks on his own, and he made like millions of them.
Yep.
Anyway, my brother and Bob shaped some surfboards for him down there too.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'll tell you what. Now you guys all the shapers here pretty much handle the Skill Model 100, right? You know, that was the tool of the day, the Skill Model 100 before they came out. John Foss, I never saw anybody else do this, had a Skill Model 100 in each hand, and he could walk this way, turn around, and walk the other way. He could mow foam faster than anybody I've ever seen be able to mow foam, almost as fast as a CNC machine. But anyway, that's my story with John and Al, and they're wonderful guys. They started out up in Downey, right?
In our garage.
Yeah, in the garage in Downey. Now, there's a whole bunch of us that started out in our dad's garage. I'm one of them. So, in any event, Al, congratulations.
And thank you for inviting me to do this.
Yeah, and now you got to induct somebody for next year.
All right, thank you.
And our next inductee is the ever so beautiful Cher Pendarvis. Come on down, Cher.
Steve, come down with her.
Now, as Cher is coming down, woo! Good thing you were hanging on that railing. I know, yeah. And this is some of her work sitting over here on the floor. And I've known Cher for years and years. She's a photographer, she's an artist, and a very creative surfboard shaper. And her husband Steve is with her, and he's also a surfboard shaper. But she's a whole lot better looking than he is.
That's for sure.
Come on.
She's definitely the better half.
Oh, God.
I'll have to go along with that.
Okay. All right.
And I met Cher. She had a photo assignment to take a picture for a trade show, I think, at one time.
Right.
The Billabong Art of Shaping.
That's it. And she came up to my shaping room to take a picture of me, and I go, why?
Portraits. Portraits. Yep.
Yep. So she did.
Get blessed.
Say what? Oh, got to get your blessing. Oh, got to get your blessing.
Woo. Sure.
You got to drape it.
Okay, got a drape. Okay.
Pull the hood out.
Oh, thank you. Oh, so beautiful. Oh, I'm in heaven. Thank you.
Here, come on over.
Thank you, everyone. Okay. Steve, did you want I want to keep it like as organized as I want to keep things as organized as I can. So I'm going to be mostly reading this to kind of control myself. Yeah, if you know what I mean. And
Here, let me see this.
Come up a little
okay.
This is 3 pages.
It's 2. Okay, Steve. Sure. Can you start? You want to come over here? Okay. My wonderful husband Steve's going to start.
She wanted me to read this, so here I am.
Wait a minute. What I'm going to do is
Thank you.
do this.
Okay.
Testing.
Thank you, Mickey.
Okay, so. Beginning in the late 60s, early 70s, Cher began making her own surfboards start to finish, working by herself and also collaborating with friends. She still makes boards working alongside her husband Steve. In 65, she began learning how to patch dings at a little surf shop. In 1966, she traded after months of work in the summertime, she worked for her first board doing dings. It was $45. This board weighed about 30 pounds, and she walked about 3 miles to the beach to carry it in all kinds of weather. The board was also broken in half, right?
Yeah, and been repaired. Yeah, I learned about that too.
And her stepdad at the time says, no daughter of mine's going to surf kind of thing, you know? And so when she came home with a receipt that she paid for it, they couldn't take it away from her.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Mom looked the other way and let me ride my bike to the beach. Yeah. Yeah.
her experience with ding repair helped her to be comfortable with the materials needed to build a board. Also, she was a young artist who had worked with wood and clay sculpture. She had an interest in making her own boards and was fortunate to watch a few friends shape in glass. Friends shapers, Skip Fry, Steve List, others encouraged her, and she is grateful. Anyway. Okay, want me to hold this for you? Got it?
Okay. Thank you. Oh, here, I made this board start to finish. Steve put his torque tail in it, but I made the whole board, shaped and glassed it. Fins. It's a perfect board for our local
2008 or 9?
our local break. And that fish over there is from 1971, and I was honored to have it in a exhibit at Surfing Heritage. And there's a story with this fish, because I made this fish for myself to ride, and then I shared it with a young friend who was in high school. And when she biked with her board to UCSD, you know, when she started college, it was stolen along with her bicycle and backpack. And so it disappeared, and Julie was heartbroken. And then our dear friend Mikey, who's up here. Mikey.
Stand up.
There, right there, okay. He was looking for early boards of mine, and he came across it several years ago at a board swap in Dana Point, right? And he goes, "Is this one of your early boards?" I'm like, "Oh my God." And then when he posted a picture of it on Instagram, my friend Julie, who I lost contact with for many years, contacted me. And I'm so happy to be reunited with my friend and to have this board back. It's wonderful. Thank you. Okay. So, thank you. I made the fins too, the fin layup sheet. You can tell it has lots of stories when it wasn't home with us, or Julie. So anyway, I want to give my heartfelt thanks to the International Surfboard Builders Hall of Fame board, Mikey, Mickey, and Bob, and the whole team. Thank you so much for doing this for all the surfboard builders. And we heartfelt thanks. Okay. Thank you for lifting up, inspiring, pioneering surfboard builders who are the core of surfing's craft that we ride. Thank you, Bob, the Greek Bolin, and Mike, Mickey, Rat, Esther, and the board of directors. Heartfelt thanks for thinking of me and for recognizing my passion for handcrafting surfboards start to finish. I am deeply honored to be here. In 1950, I was born in San Francisco within sight of the ocean, so Mom said. And when I was 5, Mom and I moved to Oahu, where Dad was deployed on a ship in the Pacific. Living in Honolulu in the late 50s was a highlight of my young life, and this is where I first saw surfing. I was mesmerized by the grace of the men and women surfers as they glided toward shore singly or sharing waves together with aloha. The aloha deeply impacted me as a child. Mom and I enjoyed playing in the waves, and I dreamt about surfing, to surf from that time on. We all have challenges in life, and there were challenges in my early surfing and board building days. No daughter of mine is gonna surf, said the stepdad. Thankfully, Mom was understanding and looked the other way in 1964 when I began borrowing boards to teach myself to surf. To earn my first board, I worked at a surf shop patching dings. Repairing boards taught me about materials used in making a surfboard, and in the late 60s, I made my first board start to finish. The little rounded pintail was crude, and I loved the process and the incredible feeling of riding waves on a board that I'd made myself. During that time, I continued to build boards, glass, and make fiberglass fins, including fins that fit in early Fins Unlimited boxes, and that was a trick to figure out. But anyway, board building tasks helped me support myself while working through college in the early 70s. Thank you to my friends and mentors who over the years encouraged me and let me watch them shape in glass: Thomas Trinan, Skip Fry, George Greeno, Warren Brown, Steve List, Mike Casey, and my husband Steve, and others along the way. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. In the early days for us individual surfboard makers, foam was hard to come by, and so we sometimes used foam from old scavenged boards. The big blank companies like Walker and Clark didn't want to sell to individuals then, or at least it wasn't easily available. Yeah. So for the thick edge boards in the late 60s, early 70s, we used refrigeration foam from Ride-Out Plastics. Also in the early days, fiberglass and resin for glassing and fin making was purchased at a local marine supply shop. In the early 70s, supplies became more easily available for individual surfboard makers when Mitch opened his supply shop in La Jolla and John Keyes opened Coast Supply in Cardiff. A few highlights of my board building journey. In the early 70s, I worked with friends, Thomas Trinan and Mike Sheffer, making fresh fish surfboards. Jimmy Blair's won the 72 World Championships on a keel fin fish that I helped make. Boy, we were stoked. I made the fiberglass fins and helped with the glass work. This fish was shaped by our good friend Mike Schaefer, who was a close friend of Jimmy's. We made the fish for Mike, and Jimmy loved riding the fish and surfed it to his 72 world title contest win. Yeah, and we were standing there cheering him on. We were so stoked. So, and in 2012, I was honored to have one of my surfboards and story included in the spectacular California's Designing Women 1896 to 1996 exhibition at the Autry Museum in Los Angeles, during which I received the 2012 Henry Award for a surfboard I designed in the late 70s. It had taken years for the curator at the Museum of California Design to assemble the show as he searched for women designers in various areas of design, from furniture to ceramics, clothing, graphic arts, and more. I'm grateful to Barry Hahn at Surfing Heritage for recommending me as an early woman surfboard builder and shaper. My surfboard was the only surfboard in the show. We would like to acknowledge other women who are pursuing their passions with board building. I want to lift up Kim Thress, the president of US Blanks, who is also a formulator who contributes to the improvements of the blanks that we use today. Thank you, Kim. Young craftswomen friends following their creative board building paths are Ashley Lord, Valerie DePratt, Christine Brailsford Caro, Whitney Lang, Davy Alexander, and Brooke Johnson, to name a few. Yep, whoop, whoop. Now, more than 50 years later, my passion for creative board building is still burning bright as I work alongside my husband, Steve. I'm sincerely honored to be here with you at the Hall of Fame, Board Builders Hall of Fame. Being inducted to the International Board Builders Hall of Fame is a highlight of my life. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, friends, family. Thank you to friends and family who came. It means so much. I've got tears in my eyes. Thank you, Greek, Mickey, and team for all you do. Warm us aloha always. Thank you.
I got to tell you a little story. So before last year, when we knew that Cher was getting inducted, I called her up and I said, Cher, this is Mickey Esther from, hang on a second.
Vroom, 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 vroom,
Boom, boom.
vroom, boom.
I called her up and I said, Cher, I said, told her who I was, and I said, I just wanted to see if Steve can come to the event last year. And she said, why is that? And I said, because you're getting inducted next year. And so the phone went silent, and I thought, waited for a second, and I said, Cher? She goes, Mickey, I gotta have Steve talking, I'm crying.
Right.
So Steve got on the phone, he said, Mickey Rat, what'd you do to piss off my wife?
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Mickey. Thank you, Bob. Oh.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, share. Rad. Yeah, glad.
Thank you. Thank you. Much love.
We have Hallie right here from the Orange County Register documenting this.
Oh, wonderful.
And Matt Liffering from the City of Huntington Beach. We are now a sanctioned event with the City of Huntington Beach. Thank you to Gracie.
Here, wait a minute.
Thank you.
Hey, John, where are you going? John Davis. You leaving? You're going to go over there? Okay, great, because I'm still going to introduce you.
I love you. Thank you.
Steve.
See you later. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now you have
Thank
to,
you.
you have to pick someone for next year.
Yep. Thank you, Sharon.
Well, they told me that this microphone was going to be perfect, but next up we have, this guy's been building surfboards for a real long time. I met him a long time ago when I was in Florida one time, but Ricky Carroll, come on down. Ricky Carroll Surfboards.
Go, Ricky!
A little thing that if you don't know, that on our logo, turn around, you're going to be my model. The Hawaiian words down at the bottom, they mean remember the past and protect the future in Hawaiian. Honoring the past, yeah.
So, Ricky Carroll. Now, this guy here is amazing. He's been, how many times did you win the Shape-Off? Was it 3? 4 times the Shape-Off. This guy won it. It's amazing. Turn around, sir. Yeah.
I'm just going to put this over your shoulders if you want to put it on.
That's all right.
Do you want to make this look good? Well, what he really doesn't know is that he's now
George Miller.
George Miller.
George Miller.
Yeah,
We don't even know who George Miller is.
I know that story.
Do you?
Yes.
Oh, was that the other guy?
Yeah.
That's where they got it.
You know it. I know the story.
We'll let him tell.
Tell us this story.
Okay, yeah, here.
All right.
Did Bernie come out?
No, he did not.
Bernie didn't come out. He said he was going to, and he didn't come out. Okay, here, you tell the story.
Yeah, so I got to thank the Hall of Fame, Bob and Mickey here. Truly an honor to be here, but I'll tell you the story about George Miller first. Bernie Crouch was last year's inductee from the East Coast, and the inductees get to nominate the next person. Well, he first nominated George Miller, who couldn't make it, and George wanted Bernie to come with him out here, and Bernie says, I can't do that. He's living in Costa Rica now. And then Bernie called me one day and he goes, I want to nominate you. And I'm like, well, you have somebody. And he goes, no, I changed my mind. I want to nominate you. So I'm second pick to George Miller.
So I don't know how we came up with that name. I don't know why it was, because your name is on the T-shirts, and we never gave him that name to our printer. So this is George Miller. Now, George has family, but is he still around?
No, he's not.
He passed away.
No, he is. He's just not doing well.
Not doing well. Okay, well, I'm going to let you take that jacket to him.
I will.
And take a picture of him with it.
All right.
And, but this guy right here, this guy's amazing. The amount of boards that he's built back there. How big is your factory back there?
It's about 5,000 square feet.
5,000 square feet, man. That's a good-sized building, I think.
It's 2 buildings.
Actually, 2 buildings. So, in any event, here, let's, I got anything on here? Ricky Carroll's Surfboard, 4-time winner of the Shape Off. Guy from Florida comes out here and beats all the guys from California. Can you believe that? You know, the funny thing is, and I don't know if he knows this, Greek Surfboards was the first surf shop to send a team back to Florida. And Greek Surfboards came up with the, we were the first ones to build a model for an East Coast surfer. And nobody cared at the time. But this guy right here, he's phenomenal. So tell him about yourself a little bit.
Thank you. Yeah, so some of you probably wondering, who's this guy from Florida? They thought that in the very first Shape-Off when I got invited to participate in this first Shape-Off that Chris Christensen and Scott Bass from the boardroom, they put that whole competition together. And I think it was what got me noticed here in California. Winning the first one, they were like, oh, it was a fluke. But then I won the second one, and a couple years later, I won the third one, and then another later, I won the Chunk of Foam Challenge Shape-Off. So winning 4 Shape-Offs against some of the best shapers around was truly an honor, and pretty much helped my notoriety, I guess, not only on the East Coast, but here in California.
Yeah.
I would like to say something about our last inductee, Sherry Pendarvis. I don't know her, but when I was 13 years old, I'm riding my bike back from the beach one day without a surfboard because my brother was riding the board that we shared. And I see this person shaping a board in a carport. So I stop and I come up there and I start watching, and I'm watching this person shape a board all the way through, and I was just amazed at it. And I was like, wow, you know, I want to do that. Maybe I can go make my own surfboard so I can surf. That person was a woman named Marianne Hayes. So the first person I ever seen shape a surfboard was a woman shaper who built her own boards all the way through on the East Coast. So I'd like to honor her with that. From there, I built boards in my mom's garage just like everybody else did, and one day got a job fixing dings and sweeping the floors in the shaping rooms for Greg Lohr and Rich Price at Natural Art, and worked at Natural Art for about 14 years building 1 million surfboards. We did the locomotions, we did the Natural Arts, we did the Pro Shapes, we did the boards for Shane Horan. You know, we made more surfboards out of that factory than any other manufacturer on the East Coast. From there, I started my own business in '92 called RC Surfboards, or Ricky Carroll Surfboards, and I still shape to this day. Every day I pick up the planer and shape boards. Got plenty of models on the machine and shaping machines, but that's not what I do. I shape my boards.
Skill mod 100.
I've got 3 skills and a couple Hitachis that I use. Yeah, so I'm truly honored to be included in this prestigious group of board builders. And I'd like to say one thing. As a board builder, you guys out there, you know this, how hard it is to make a living at it, and how tough it can be at times. But it's even tougher on our spouses. So I'd like to give a shout out to my wife, Carol up there. She doesn't like the notoriety, but She does the books for our business, and she knows everything about having to pay that phone bill and having to pay the resin bill and not getting paid from the surf shops, and we all know the whole story and how that works. And so it's hard on them. They're like looking at us like, what are you guys doing? You know, why do you do this? You know, it's because we love surfing, we love surfboards. That's why we do it.
Yeah, he's great, and we do it for the love of shaping. Right? I'm just very lucky that I got into the real estate business, because we all know there's no money in surfboards. It's like trying to catch water and your hands open, right?
Yeah, it was quite a few years ago, a couple of the inductees had asked me when they got their awards and saw the awards, and they said, Mickey, do you make surfboards? I said, no, I own a commercial door company because I wanted to make money for a living.
That's true. I've done nothing but surfboards most of my life. I started out in high school as an auto mechanic, believe it or not. And a quote from my dad was, when I quit my auto mechanic's job to start working in a surfboard factory, his quote was, "You're throwing away your life."
Well, let's get you your jacket award. Put a jacket on it. Has he already had the blessing?
Take it off with a no small. Yep. Here it is, right here. Put the whole right there.
No, that's an XL. You were an XL? Okay, good. We'll get you one.
Sir.
Hey, guys.
Thank you for making
Congratulations, Ricky. It's nice to have you out here. I'm glad you made it. But last time I saw you, I got to tell you, your hair wasn't that long.
Yeah, I've been growing it out.
I never would have guessed. Next, we have Sam Egan from Australia. And accepting for Sam is his friend, Chris Christensen, who's also a board builder down south. So. Okay, Chris, we've talked on the phone several times, right? Put the jacket on. And you won't be able to keep you warm, the jacket, because we got somebody going down there.
Perfect. Hi, everyone. It's good to be here. I'd like to thank everyone for putting this event on. I'm Chris Christensen. I'm from San Diego. I actually grew up here, so it feels good to be back home. I grew up surfing mostly north side of the pier, Taco Bell Reef, and Seal Beach, however far I could ride my bike. So it's an honor for me to be here accepting this award on behalf of Sam Egan. For the last 32 years, I have traveled all over the world shaping surfboards and building my business. And my favorite thing about my career in surfing is the brotherhood we have, and that is why we're all here today. I'd like to personally congratulate all of today's inductees. I would also like to give a special thanks and perhaps a round of applause for all the unsung heroes in all the glass shops. Without them, we wouldn't be here either. Sam Egan was in the surf industry in the 1950s. He was only just 15 years old, and he still shapes today, mastering every evolution of surfboards to master class level. His son, Luke Egan, who I consider one of my best friends, in 1997, one of Sam's biggest highlights and still brings joy to his face today is Luke won the 1997 G-Land event in perfect 6 to 10 foot on Sam's board. Luke Egan is also being inducted into the Australian Surfing Hall of Fame this year, so congrats to you both, father and son. What an achievement. Another great achievement of Sam Egan is he's been married to his wife, Margaret, for over 60 years now, and Margaret has been a great supporter of all of Sam's passions in his career. So Sam wrote a speech, and I'm going to read it for you all right now. So these are words from Sam. I started making surfboards in the 1950s when I was 15 because I couldn't afford to buy my own. My first board was a 16-foot toothpick, then I moved on to balsa, and finally foam. Soon after, the first issue of Surfer magazine was published, and I was instantly hooked. Surfer magazine introduced me to Hobie, Jacobs, Greg Knoll, and others, including Bob the Greek Bolin. This really inspired me to make boards full-time. Brookvale, Sydney became the hub of surfboard making in Australia with the Brookvale Six. Barry Bennett, Gordon Woods, Scott Dillon, Bill Wallace, Danny Keogh, and Greg McDonald.
Can't you do that with an Australian accent?
Nah, mate, no. Barry Bennett played a big role in encouraging me, and Scott Dillon was the one who showed me how to make surfboards as a living. At the time, I was 23, married to Margaret, paying rent on a one-bedroom flat, a mortgage on a plot of land where I built my home with Margaret, and a shop at the beach. Margaret was a wizard at handling all this and the financials. I still don't know how she did it all today, but it seemed to work out. I've now hand-shaped for over 60 years, shaping longboards, high-performance shortboards, knee boards, wooden boards, paddle boards, and even tandem boards. I now enjoy making elaborate wooden boards, hand-shaping my own label, and making some fine furniture in my shed underneath my home overlooking beautiful Lake Macquarie in New South Wales. My favorite shapers now are Jim Phillips, Mitchell Ray, and thank you, Sam, Chris Christensen. Thank you, Sam. I'm so honored to be inducted with the greats of our industry. I've only dreamed to be considered for this prestigious award. I'd like to thank the International Surfboard Hall of Fame for this honor. I would also like to thank Mitchell Ray for my nomination, a man I consider to be one of the best board makers in Australia. I'm fortunate enough to have Chris Christensen accept the award. You're very welcome. I've admired Chris's work for a long time, and this is Sam's words. I know it won't be long before he's here to receive his own award. Thank you, buddy. I skipped it. The last page stuck together, almost down here. Thank you. I regard this award to be a highlight of my surfing journey, up there with my son Luke Egan's successful surfing career. I would also like to congratulate all the inductees. I would have loved to have met them all, and I regret not being able to travel. Sam Egan.
Thank you. Before we get to the next one, back to our logo. When Greek and I started this, as I said, we didn't have t-shirts, stickers, didn't even have a logo. Greek and I were over doing a gig on Oahu, and we just happened to go into the ABC store there, and I see this postcard on the rack that had the Hawaiian crest on it, and it said something else in it in Hawaiian. So I told Greek, I said, there's our logo right there, that outline. And so that's how we came up with our logo, and then the t-shirts evolved after that, and then that's it. Okay, so I just wanted to put that in there too.
Okay, so we got Sam Egan done, and next we have Hanky Warner. Hank Warner Custom Shapes. Hank cannot be with us today. Accepting for Hank is his good friend and previous inductee, Wayne Rich.
Let me say something about Joe Roper. Joe Roper, many of you may know that his son is Jojo Roper, the big wave surfer. Well, he's down in Nazaré right now, and today at 1 o'clock, they're going to announce the awards for the big wave surfing, and he is up for the performance ride of the year, plus what else, Joe? The biggest paddle in? Yeah, the biggest paddle in wave, which was held at Mavericks. So if any of you ever saw that video, you got to see it on YouTube. It is phenomenal. And his son, Jojo, is such a humble guy. I can't ever get him to talk about it. And fortunately for us, our niece, Madison, is his fiance.
So if you look around, stand up. Wayne Rich inducted this Hanky Warner, and they sent up all these people, their family members. Stand up, put your face masks on, look around. We have so many Hanky Warner lookalikes here today. And thanks for coming down. And he told you, I mean, he told me, he told you guys to buy a whole bunch of T-shirts. So don't forget. Oh, here's Wayne Rich, right? Where is he? Where'd you go, Wayne? I got one question for you, Wayne. Is my board ready yet?
Hell no. Sooner or later. It's a real honor for Hanky. Love the man for a long, long time. It's a real honor to stand here and read some words that he has for all of you. I'm really fortunate. I met him in the late 70s. I wrote his boards before I was shaping, and he was the soul that connected me to the Ropers and Skip Fry and all the soul of San Diego. Hank Warner represents the soul. Well, we call him Brother Soul. So this is from Hanky to all of you. Thank you to the International Surfboard Hall of Fame and Bob the Greek Bolin and Mickey Rat Esther for 25 years of recognizing all of the surfboard builders that have made the surfboard industry what it is today. A rich history, a handmade endeavor of pleasure. Special shout out to my soul brother Wayne Rich and my longtime close friend Joe Roper for standing in for me as I am out of the state due to some family business this weekend. I'd like to acknowledge my wife Shelley and her side of the family, Bruce and Jan Coggins and others that will be able to make it here for me today, and my two sons Wyatt and Rhett. And can I have Wyatt and Rhett come up here? This is Wyatt and Rhett. These two are carrying on the legacy of Hanky and the soul, the brother soul of San Diego soul. All right. So Hanky says, growing up, steps from the ocean in San Diego helped me surf daily and become part of the surf industry. As an 11-year-old Grammy, I walked into my first surfboard factory and got a touch of the experience visually by watching the construction of surfboards and physically by getting my hand dipped into a bucket of fresh acetone that went from cold to evaporation in seconds. I knew I had found my vocation. Instead of punching a clock from 9 to 5, being able to go surf at the best times of the day set me into the life of building surfboards and surfing with the tides, making a lifetime of memories that have lasted longer than paychecks, truly a labor of love. After 64 years of breathing dust and fumes, being inducted into the International Surfboard Builders Hall of Fame is an honor that will highlight my career. So thank you, Greek and Mike, for this platform, and I'll wear my jacket proudly as I wore my first surf team sweatshirt over 60 years ago. Mahalo, Hank Warner.
I'm gonna have Hank's two sons up here and get the blessing. And while they're doing that, I'm gonna tell you another little story about Hank. Again, back at the boardroom show last Saturday, the reason I went down there was to take his award down there and show it to him, kind of tease him a little bit. Well, he got the award. He was so stoked, he walked all around that show holding it like this, as Bill Holden did at his party. He would walk up to people and go, look, and they would say, can I touch it? Can I hold it? No, no. So Hank is really stoked.
Yeah, I did talk with Hanky, and So anyway, you guys got your blessing? Sure.
So there's no better person to express what Hanky is all about. Real quick, Joe Roper, one of the greatest surfers of all time, Big Rock La Jolla, he's the man.
I want to thank the International Shapers Hall of Fame and everybody that showed up, but Hank and I go back over 50 years, and he's the godfather of my son, and watching his family and my family, and him shaping all my boards for Hawaii, and one thing about Hank, you know, he's shaped over 35,000 boards. Well, back in the day, as you shapers know, the blanks weren't like precise, so when you shape a board, I mean, Genius had him a stack of orders, short boards, long boards, whatever. He had to create the boards, whatever the orders were. So shapers back then were real talented. You know, you couldn't just grab a blank now or put it off the machine and go, I'm a shaper, put a logo on it. Hank was heart and soul of shaping. So I go to Hawaii and I'm always a year behind going, wow, I need, you know, Big Rock boards aren't pipeline boards. So I go to Hawaii and look at all the parishes and the barn fields and all the, you know, the underground guys like Court Gaia and all those guys making the boards for Sunset and Pipeline. Well, I studied the Pipeline board, come back, instantly go to the shaping room. Hank, I got to make me a board for next year because I got to upgrade my boards to handle the gnarly Pipeline. So Hank and I had that shaping relationship. That's what shapers and surfers have in common. They have to work together to create what they surf. Every surfer is different. You know, I got my Skip Fries. You can go smooth with Skip, or, you know, get the barrel with Hank or whoever. You know, there's so many shapers out there. You guys totally could relate. And that was what's so good about Hank and our relationship and you know, growing up, like I said, with his family's up there representing, and too bad Hank wasn't here because he's the computer brain of knowledge on history of surfing, you know, especially San Diego, growing up in PB, and there's one of his boards he made, the AGP, they called him Atlantic Gulf Pacific. So he traveled to Texas, to Pensacola, to the East Coast, all the way up to New Jersey, up and down the coast, selling surfboards, still does to this day, and makes just one of the most quality all-around surfboards. So it's not like he's got his own model. He shapes whatever model you want. So that's what's so special about Hank, and it's been a wonderful, wonderful relationship we've had, and I hope to continue. And thank you guys for putting this on, and there's my heart and soul. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
Here.
Okay, you're going to accept it?
Of course.
Well, there you go. No, get it over here. I hope Hanky's having as much fun in Virginia with a wedding, for crying out loud. And the interesting thing is they're doing an induction, a mock induction for him.
Hey.
Oh, wait. Yeah, they're doing a mock induction for him at the wedding. He doesn't know that. I sent him a picture of the award. They were going to cut it all out, and I sent him a poster, so they're going to take that and do a mock award there. So hopefully we'll get some pictures from that also. So anyway, congratulations to Hank Warner. And is my board ready yet?
Sure. Yeah.
Ben?
Getting closer.
Getting closer. All right. Okay, next up we have Richard Deese. And we have his daughter has come down to accept his award for him. And I met Richard Deese back about 1962. And I'll tell you some stories about him. I had a personal relationship, he's a super nice guy and a great craftsman, but anyway, this is his daughter, Erica Escalante. I'm going to let you get up and talk about your dad a little bit. Yeah.
Okay. So my father, I remember from my youngest years, him out in the shed, and this is up in Ventura County after he moved up there, because I wasn't born around here. I was born up there in Ventura County. And he would be in his shed, and he would be making surfboards. And I remember his hands and how soft and smooth they were, but how strong they were. And what I've heard here today, the themes coming through are about that value in the craftsmanship and taking the time and pouring the love and the respect for all the elements of the earth and the ocean into creating these works of art, really. But they're not just beautiful and delicate in a way, but they're also very strong. And that's how I remember my father. And I want to thank you for inducting him into the Surfboard Builders Hall of Fame. I know he would be thrilled beyond belief. He was another theme I've heard from many of these awardees is that humility, the humbleness, and the patience. It wasn't about how many boards one made, and I know that's true for my father especially, but about the uniqueness, the ingenuity, and the craftsmanship. And I thank you all so much.
Richard was a friend of mine. I got to meet him about 1962. He developed a fin called the wishbone fin. And I don't know if you remember the wishbone fin.
Arm out there so you can take it right back up.
Kind of came up like this, had a little wing that came back down. They were nasty to sand, let me tell you, getting a sander in there to sand them and the way they put them on. And I used to have a little TR3, a little sports car, 4 on the floor, you know, bucket seats, and I would take surfboards up to his shop, 10-foot eliminators, a couple at a time, standing up behind the seats and driving down the freeway. That must have been a sight. And I'd take them up and drop them off, and he'd glass them, and I'd go back up and pick them up. And I did that quite a bit because I wanted to put that wishbone fin on those boards. And he was a great craftsman and a longtime friend. And he was just a neat guy. I enjoyed him.
One thing she also needs to say.
So I guess for some more background as to why I'm here today to accept this award is my father passed away February 24th of this year, which was just 1 week shy of his 87th birthday. Wow. He almost made it to 87. So, and I've been up to his home, still in Ventura County, just thinking about him and looking out at his view of the sacred Chumash hillsides and way out there, the ocean. So I know he thought about that every day, especially towards the end of his life.
Thank you very much. Okay. We're going to do a... Oh. I'm, you know, my head's out of the way. Stick around. Okay, we'd like to bring Mayor Gracie up one more time. She has something very special for the new inductees. So we get all the new inductees down here. Yeah.
You want me to call their names out? Thank you.
Where'd Al go? Come on out. We're gonna stand out in front
With their boards.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cradle that little devil.
So the first person I'd like to call up is Richard Deese.
Richard Deese, that'd be the daughter. Where'd she go?
Where'd you go? Oh, here you go. This is for your dad. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And you can stand here. Next, Ricky Carroll. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And we'll need you over here. Next, I'd like to call Sam Egan. Sam Egan, Sam. Is he here?
Did you tell them what it says on here?
Did you want me? I'll read it after. Sam Egan here?
We have the acceptance.
Oh, here you go.
Chris, where did you go, Chris?
Who's accepting the award for Sam? Okay, let me call someone else. Okay, next I'd like to call Al Foss. Oh, here you go.
You get a
Thank you so
commendation,
much.
too, from the center.
I'm going to read one of them.
Thank you.
And Al Merrick, here you go.
Don't get in front of her, though.
I'll come over in the front. Sheriff Pendarvis, here you go.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Step over.
Hank Hanky Warner. What's that thing? So this is a certificate of recognition from Senator Janet Nguyen for your longstanding commitment and dedication to the sport of surfing and your surfing community. Congratulations on this excellent achievement. May your legacy endure for many years to come.
Stay put, everybody stay put. This guy, I don't know where he went. Okay, we want to get all of our other inductees that are still here to get into this picture. Where are our other inductees that are here? Huh? Yeah, he's over here. Bring him over.
Right here, look over here. Over here,
I gotta get my jacket.
Look over here, Al.
Is this different? Yeah, more years. All the years.